Good morning, America. How are ya? You'll be 500 miles before the day is done. Hi, I'm Denny Jelsma, and I'm at the world famous Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum. And today is Monday, and you know what we do on Monday? You guessed it, it's show and tell starts right now.
Hi, I'm Richard. Today we're going to talk about industrial water tanks. Here in Folkestone, we have generic plastic kit. On the bottom of it, it has no indication as to who made it, what manufacturer, but I'm assuming it's either Cedar Classics or Walthers or somebody. It's just plastic. Follow the instructions, put it together, weather it, put whatever name you want on it, and it's ready to go. This one came to us already pre-built. All I had to do was scrape off the name that was on there and apply dry transfer decals, emboss them on, and it's ready to go. Okay, we're over here at the paper plant over in Fernandina Beach. Well, Fernandina. This water tank is a Craftsman kit. Came to me as a box of sticks and wire and instructions. I don't have the instructions anymore because I threw them away there once I got it built. But anyway, the bottom was a piece of cast plaster, white as all get out. Had to do nothing to it. The tank itself was a piece of cardboard tube, like the kind you find in the inside of a paper towel roll. The kit also came with a plastic wrap to simulate the actual tank surface, and everything else was just wires and strips of wood. So, following the instructions, I glued the core of the tank together on the plaster, wrapped the plastic around it, and applied lots of rubber bands to hold it with I think I used white glue, and just let it sit up overnight. The legs were the hard part. The instructions called for 2 pieces of wood to start the legs, held them in place by weights, and then I cut, let's see, this is the ladder, let me turn it this way. Then I had to cut the bracing out of little snips of wire. I had a image to go by, so I cut multiples of the wire and just glued them in place one at a time. Did one side of the leg, once it dried up, turned it over, did the other side. I was doing 4 legs at a time. That's a lot of snipping and gluing. And I think I was using an ACC at the time. Anyway, I'd come in and lay in a few pieces per leg every evening, slowly working my way along until I got one side finished. Turn it over, start on the other side. This kit takes patience. Do not be in a hurry when you're putting a Craftsman kit together. Read the instructions. They're a tremendous help, especially when it's your first one, as this one was for me. The water tank has a dispatch tube. There was a piece of balsa, just ACC'd that in place. Then I ACC'd them to the bottom of the tank, equilaterally around the bottom. Put in some bracing, again just wire, ACC'd everything together. The platform up here that goes around the tank, the instructions said to cut it out of something like index card or heavy paper. So I did that. Took an X-Acto, measured out the dimensions on the plans, drew it in place with a pencil, and I think I had a compass to draw the circle, and slowly cut it out with an X-Acto blade. Glued it in place with ACC, and then started adding up the uprights, which is just pieces of, again, balsa strip. Glued a few pieces in place every evening, and then came back with the horizontal pieces and glued them in place one at a time, taking my time to wrap it around the uprights. By then, everything was together except for the roof. And this is just more index card cut in triangular shapes according to the template that was on the instructions. And then they were glued in place. A piece of wire was inserted from the top as the finial, I think they call it. A piece of index card was cut out as a square to represent the roof hatch. And then the ladder, maintenance ladder, that's going up the side of the tank and the side of this leg, is a signal tower I had, just stamped brass. I just had that available. I'm not sure what kind was recommended. It did not come with the kit. So once all that dried up, I spray painted it with a rattle can of some sort of a brown shade I had at home. Streaked it with some dark brown, some engine black, and I don't think I had pan pastels. I don't think they were available at the time. But anyway, streak it up with whatever you want if you want to make it look old and nasty. This one has been on the layout since about 30 years ago, I think is when I built it. But it's still hanging together. It's looking a little lopsided right now because it was in storage for about 6 years. You see this side of the railing is drooping down a little bit compared to the rest of it, but overall it's still hanging together pretty good. On the bottom of the feet there are some gussets to help give us a little bit more gluing strength whenever you mount it on your layout. Again, we named it Clifton, I think, at the time. That's where it was on a previous layout, and since it's been dirtied up so much we really can't tell what the name is now. But anyway, that's the water tank at the paper plant in Fernandina. Okay, this next water tank, the last one I'm going to talk about, there are no plans for it. It's a completely scratch built one. I was given this. They said, build me that water tank. Well, that's going to be a chore because I've never scratch built anything before. They gave me another picture, close up. Do the best you can, they said. Okay. I had no plans, no dimensions, just a picture. How in the world am I going to do this? Well, I went to my local big box store, hardware store, and bought some pieces. And this is what I ended up with. This started out as a 1-inch PVC cap. Of course, it's upside down, but that's the body of the water tank. Everything else is plastic pieces, some more signal tower ladder, index card for the roof, and I went to a sewing supply store and bought a box or a little container of straight needles with a big head on them, and that's what I'm using as a finial. I've got my lifetime supply of rooftop finials now. The legs are just some evergreen styrene H columns, a piece of plastic tubing for the down pipe, more wire, or I think in this case it was evergreen rod that I used for the bracing in between the legs. The platform around it, maintenance access, again, is index card. The railing is again some more, let's see, I think I had some brass wire for that time, flat brass wire that I managed to curve in place and glue to the platform as uprights, and to the top of those uprights as a hand railing. Basically, I built what they needed based on the picture, sized to fit a 1-inch PVC cap. Now, if that don't look similar, I don't know what else to do. So basically, if you got a picture, just build it best you can to match, and good enough is good enough. So that's the way it is at the Jacksonville Terminal Railroad Museum.